Gregg Marcel Dixon here. You probably have heard about me. I'm that reparations guy, candidate for South Carolina's 6th Congressional District, and I'm a Democrat. I will fight to protect all beating hearts. I will fight to protect your Second Amendment rights. Do you feel that illegal immigration is a crime and should be treated as such? So do I. We may not agree on everything. I am sure we agree on a lot of the issues which are important. I am Gregg Marcel Dixon, and I approve this message.
It's the Logan Power Show. Inspirational and motivational. It's the Logan Power Show. Informational to help you grow. Logan Power Show.
And now the host, Calvin Logan.
Hey everybody, welcome to a powerful episode here at the Logan Power Show. It's me, your host, Calvin Logan. I thank y'all for watching us and tuning in to the Logan Power Show because we're here to bring you information to inspire you and to uplift you. I got with me, we call him the David in the Lowcountry right now because he's going against a heavyweight, and the people believe that he's going to bring change. He said he's going to do it. Bring it to the 6th Congressional District. He's a nominee on the Democratic side, the one and only Mr. Gregg Marcel Dixon. How you doing today, Mr. Dixon?
I'm doing good, Logan. How are you?
Doing great, sir. So let's get down to it. You're running for the 6th Congressional District here in the state of South Carolina. You're going the Democratic side against your incumbent, House Representative Mr. James Clyburn. The biggest thing that people talk about is who you are and what you represent. You talk about some things about number one, you mentioned that in your district is highly below the level it's supposed to be. It's not on par, and that the incumbent is mostly focused on the outside, but not at home. So could give us what would you do differently if you were given the opportunity to change your district and to make it better like everyone else's?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me again. And I want to give some statistics about my district. First of all, South Carolina's Congressional District 6, which includes my home county where I've lived my entire life and was raised, Jasper County. It is the 6th poorest district out of 400 in the United States of America, out of 435 districts total in the country. 3rd poorest for children. We have the highest eviction rate. We have the highest level of toxicity in our water. We have the highest rate of Black amputees, people getting their arms and legs chopped off, amputated because of preventable health reasons, because we don't have access to grocery stores with nutritious food and healthcare clinics. And so the first thing I would do is address one of the major issues here, this being a majority Black district and a large number of us being Gullah Geechee. We live on land that is a part of a system called heirs property. That's when people inherit their property without a will. So everyone gets a share of the property. The unfortunate thing is if someone sells their share for whatever reason, other people used to be able to get bought out. And you can have 10 people living on 60 acres of property, and usually a racist judge who hated Black people would say to the person who wants to buy everyone else's share, okay, you can buy them out $10,000. Each Black person gets $1,000, they gotta go. But the property's probably worth $500,000. Used to happen all the time. Black Americans have lost 15 million acres of the 16 million our ancestors fought to get and fought to keep, because the number one cause of lynching was land theft. So the first thing I would do is write a bill addressing the issues of land theft of Black Americans, meaning dealing with the heirs property system is mainly a state level matter, but it should not be. It needs to be handled at the level of the federal government, because it was the federal government that a lot of times prevented Black people from being able to consult with a lawyer, or we could not read and write because the federal government denied us an education or we were too poor because we didn't inherit the wealth that we should have from building this nation. So they have a responsibility to fix it. I will write a bill that's going to get us compensation for the land laws, help us to get land grants, and help to resolve this issue of heirs property. Two, I'm going to write a reparations bill. And I know there are probably people right now in the audience rolling their eyes, thinking it's never going to happen. That's the reason why we haven't gotten it right there. And other groups have. Japanese Americans were thrown into internment camps just for a few years. They were able to get reparations in 1988. I was 4 years old when they got reparations. So this ain't no ancient history. Native American tribes right now, as we speak, several of them get direct monthly payments. They are tax exempt status. So when they start hotels and casinos on their property, those billions and trillions of dollars goes into their pocket. One tribe can give all of the thousands of people and that's a part of their tribe, each gets $1 million per person. Some of them get direct monetary payments, free education. Holocaust survivors get reparations. Okay, we Black Americans, my great grandfather being a World War II vet, helped to stop the Nazis. The first thing the U.S. made the Germans do was give the Jews back the land and property that was stolen from them. The only reason we haven't gotten it outside of this country being anti-Black is because we don't have any leaders that have stood up and fought for us to get it. There's a bill called HR 40. That's a study of reparations. We don't need no study. We already know what was done. We already know what was owed. I'm going to write a bill to get us the reparations we are due. So dealing with land theft, reparations are just two, but not all, of the things I will do the moment I get in office.
Absolutely, and it's definitely to bring to light. You do mention a lot of very educational points of regards to Native Americans having their reserved land, and also the Holocaust, Jewish. You do mention some powerful points that will bring some things in place. The 40 acre and the mule that was promised has not been promised because you don't see reparations coming for that. You do mention also that you want to change education in your district to make it stronger, since you are a educator of 17 years and have seen the ups and flows of what's going on. How would you sort of impact education? I know that is a delicate topic when it comes to education.
Well, I've been a teacher for 17 years, and I've taught here in Jasper County, the county where I've lived my entire life. I was raised, and generations of my family have lived. We've lived here before Jasper County even exists. It was once just Beaufort County. It was once St. Luke's Parish, Prince William's Parish. So we've been here for generations on the coast of South Carolina, Gullah Geechee to the core, obviously. You probably can't tell by the way I speak. And I have won many awards for my teaching. I've had classes come to me, 20% reading on or above grade level. By the time they leave, 75 to 77% are reading on or above grade level, especially my Black males. Now, unfortunately, here in South Carolina, we have a corridor of shame, which refers to a number of majority Black rural counties, Jasper County being one of them, Paulding County, Hampton County, Allendale County, Marlborough County. I can go on and name all of them, but it's going to need me to belabor the point where the poverty rate for Black Americans is as high as 80%, and the failure rate, academic failure, is higher than that. And some of them, like here in my school, some of the Black boys, 90% of them are not reading or doing math on grade level, not because they're not intelligent, but because of the issues that impact and that Black Americans go through the most before they walk through the doors of that school. Black girls are not as high with their level of failure. They're 70%, so still too darn high. I have been able to reverse that. So what I plan to do to deal with issues of education is, one, I am unapologetically a proponent of the federal government being more involved in funding and making sure that all schools are equitably funded. What we have right now in the United States is a system that almost no other country does, where schools are funded by local property taxes. That's crazy, because that means if you live in a community like Bluffton, which is like 15, 20 minutes from me, which is the wealthiest town in South Carolina, your property taxes are going to be this high. If you go just 15 minutes, 20 minutes down the street and you're in Ridgeland now, a poor town, your property tax is going to be this high. That's insane. So that means the kid is being punished for just having to live in a poor county. And even if their family wanted to move to a richer county, they wouldn't be able to afford it because apartments in Bluffton starts at least at $1,500. You can barely afford apartments here in Ridgeland. That means we're punishing kids and families that need resources the most just for living in a poor zip code. My better education plan, one of the things I'm calling for, there's many details to it, but one of the things I'm calling for is for a commission to establish a state standard for all 50 states, meaning we're going to see what it takes for each school to have enough funding for every child to have a high quality education. If some districts can do more, great, but we want to make sure that no district is without. That means each school district will contribute what they can to meeting that standard of funding. But if they cannot meet it, the federal government then will fill in, will take care of the balance. It will go straight to that district school board, skipping all the politics of the state Department of Education. No one has time for them to sit there and act dumb when our kids are struggling and not getting the resources they need. So it will go straight to the school board, and that will go straight to them being able to pay teachers a lot more. I believe a starting salary in South Carolina should be at least $65,000, but not just teachers, paraprofessionals, the cafeteria employees, janitors, bus drivers, okay? The receptionist at the front desk. It takes a team effort, so everyone on the team should get more. Being able to provide more social workers, guidance counselors, psychiatrists. Sometimes when kids misbehave, the first thing we want to do is put them out. And look here, you can ask about me. I'm a tough teacher. I don't hold back, and I don't bite my tongue when it comes to dealing with my kids. I let them have it because I love them and I'm tough on them, and I need no apologies for that. I'm probably that teacher parents are going to complain about when they say it's too mean. And yet at the end of the year, my kids do well. When I give my kids their student surveys, ask how they feel about me, 90% and above say, we love Mr. Dixon. We wish we had him again. However, sometimes when a kid misbehaves, we are punishing their behavior instead of dealing with the cause of the misbehavior. And sometimes that's mental and emotional trauma, especially for Black students, Black girls and boys. So I want to provide more mental health services in schools and family support services as well. That's where that money is going to go towards doing.
Absolutely.
Something, hold on, I want to say this real quick, sorry.
Go ahead.
Congressman Clyburn has been in office for 30 years. He's had ample time to do these things, to stop the theft, the land theft of Black Americans. He's had ample time to deal with the inequality and inequities of school funding that hurts Black people the most, and he has not. Just want to make sure people are aware of that.
Absolutely.
30 years.
Absolutely. Now, to give some people some more historical data, we talk about the Education Finance Act of 1977. South Carolina started in 1977, has not changed. They did what's called the Education Improvement Act of 1984. As he's correct in regards to what he's talking about, is that it is what's called a sales tax, is how this is sort of funded. And so it's basically the local is paying more than the state and federal. There are certain places where the local property tax is not enough, so the federal government will come and put some into it, but not as much, especially when it comes to our state as well. Now, the number one place when it comes to public and funding, you have to go up north to New Jersey, where it has a more of a better dynamic. So I definitely understand we making a universal type of budget that's going to streamline it and make it to that it's not having a quality education based off your zip code, but based off of you. We want all Americans to have the best quality education possible, because it is based off your zip code. I don't care what anyone says. The data analysis has shown it that if you're in the right zip code, the right area, you do not have to do school choice. No need to, because the top schools in your area, you're going to have that capabilities. You're tipping a lot of toes, and you're a fighter. And you can tell that there's a lot of passion and a lot of fight in you. What is sort of like the holdup or the stopping point? Because we already know what happens when a David faces Goliath. Goliath is holding all the cards. And when it comes to name recognition, and you fight a lot, you've been on many different platforms. You talked about how you're going to create change. You mentioned that House Representative Clyburn's been in office 30 years. South Carolina has not really changed. The hate crime bill that House Representative Gilliard put on the ballot has not gone forth. So there's so many things going on. One thing that I want to ask, which is really important, I think that's really something I want to address. You do have some views on when it comes to how the current administration is doing certain things here and how you would improve it if you were given the opportunity to let them know what's really going on. If there's some things you would say would give some, like, hey, this ain't working and we got to get it fixed because you mentioned education on a national level. Is there another national level that you want to see change in the United States that you would address up at the White House on Pennsylvania Avenue?
How much time you have? One, I would get rid of this so-called president we have. The guy is a Ku Klux Klan. He worked with Ku Klux Klan members. He worked with segregationists. We talk about equitable funding of schools. The man that I didn't vote for, but some people in South Carolina voted for. The man was friends with Strom Thurmond. You see, we got this whole church thing going on. We want to forgive and love the Lord. Okay, no, I am not forgiving you for doing anti-blackness that's still hurting people today. Strom Thurmond was a notorious anti-black bigot. And even though they claim he changed his ways later on, what did he do to repair the damage he specifically did to Black Americans? Nothing. That's where reparations come in. This so-called president we have now, Joe Biden, did not just work with Strom Thurmond. He wrote the guy's letter of gratitude for helping him keep Black kids out of better funded schools. He said that if Black children were allowed to get into his children's school, it would turn into a racial jungle. Well, his son is hooked on drugs, so maybe having Black kids in the school would have actually helped your son not be a drug addict. Second of all, he also did the disparity between hard rock cocaine and powder cocaine. Rock cocaine used by Black Americans, you got thrown in jail, had the book thrown at you. If you was using powder cocaine that was mainly used by white Americans, you really got a slap on the wrist. You got houses and cars and programs to help you, like they're doing now with this opioid crisis. Then the 1994 crime bill that has put more Black people in bondage than the days of chattel slavery since those days. So one thing I would tell them to do is, one, it has been shown on record, and I know this might hurt some people's feelings who think that we should be a Democrat before they're Black. No, not here. I'm Black way before I'm any party affiliation, way before I'm a Democrat. We need to stop this illegal immigration, and we need to be against amnesty for people in the country illegally. It is a fact. It's been shown from Democratic studies. It's been shown from Republican studies. They disagree to what extent, but they all agree that Black Americans are hurt the most by illegal immigration. Before anyone tries to give me that BS thing about they're doing jobs nobody else wants to do, that's a lie. Because who was doing the jobs before they came here? We were. 40%, almost 40% of the people doing jobs in construction, heating and air, electrical work, painting, roofing, flooring, carpentry are illegal immigrants. When I was growing up, it was always Black men, young and older, doing those jobs. Lawn care. Now, because these illegal immigrants are coming here and doing it for lower wages and sometimes smuggling other people in the country illegally and not paying those people, as we saw here in my area in Beaufort, it was a restaurant called Jade Garden. The restaurant is gone now. They busted those people because they had illegal immigrants there from Asia working in those restaurants, not paying these people. It was pretty much a form of modern day slavery. You have some illegal immigrants who come here, they get paid, but they get other people to come here. They don't pay them, so they can charge low fees, but all the money goes in their pockets. And Black Americans are not getting these jobs. The data shows the higher the level of immigration, the higher level unemployment is for Black Americans. The lower our wages become, the higher our incarceration rates become. Not just that, one survey by Duke University in 2006, they asked Hispanics who were in the country illegally their views on Black Americans. Nearly 70% of them said Black Americans were criminals, lazy, troublemakers, did not work hard, were not good people. They said that about us while in our nation. When they asked white Americans that, anonymously, only 12% of white Americans has such disgusting anti-black views. So we need to stop this whole black and brown allyship. There is no black and brown allyship. Another thing I will tell them is that this so-called president we have, he has done executive orders for LGBTQ people, okay? Native Americans are getting historic levels of funding. This is the most funding that has gone towards Native Americans in history, okay? Asian Americans went through 3 weeks of hate crimes and they got a hate crime bill that was written for their protection. He's trying to give illegal immigrants citizenship, but not just that. And Clyburn supports this to give them housing. 15 to 20% of the population in the US conservatively are black. We make up 55% of the house homeless, and he wants to give them housing. They want to give them jobs. Underneath this so-called president we have now, everyone's employment rate has increased, unemployment has dropped, except for black Americans. For black men, our unemployment rate has surged under the so-called president, but they want to give jobs to legal immigrants. I will tell him, you said you had black Americans backed because we have always had yours. Yet not one executive order he has written has specifically addressed the issues affecting black Americans, descendants of American slaves, not immigrants, blacks, but black Americans who are descendants of the people that built this nation. So I would simply tell this segregationist, do your job and keep your word.
Wow. For those that are listening right now, I want you all to understand the importance of keeping your word. A man of his words, a man of integrity and character. He's spot on. 1994 crime bill. There's people today that's still locked up because of that bill. We talk about also when you mention about immigration, how it impacts, you gotta understand most of the time that when it comes to a lot of our people that look like us, when you think about jobs, you gotta think about jobs that were called trade jobs. If you learn how to do hand craftsmanship, if you learn how to do plumbing, those type of jobs that people don't want, it creates wealth. It creates a sort of bridging the gap. Because understand this, when it comes to education and college level and degrees, a lot of black men are not there compared to the black women. The black woman is elevated educationally, the black man is falling. So you're spot on in what you're talking about. And the current president of the United States has not had any executive order when it comes to the hate crime bill, anything of that nature. And he did mention that, for instance, he quoted that he's a good choice for us. He mentioned that, why wouldn't you choose him? And so you think about who got him in office. If it wasn't for African Americans helping put through, then he wouldn't be in office today. And I would tell anybody right now, for me, I don't vote Republican or Democrat. I vote the right person in office. Because if you want to be honest, Republicans back in the day were for African Americans. If you go back in the 60s and things like that, it has changed over time. So it's not a party line, it's the right line. Final thought. You are pretty much going to be creating a lot of noise when you're given the opportunity, especially the presidential address, and you create a sense of hope. Do you believe that it's going to take more people like Mr. Gregg Marcel Dixon to be put in the office so that this hope that people have been praying for will come to pass?
Yes, and let me tell you something. Even if I don't win this election, I ain't running to necessarily win. I'm running to make a difference for my people. I'm running because I was tired of seeing my people be ran over. What I've discovered, and I always know, some of our people are happy being ran over. They think the way things are going for us is just fine. They think as long as we can drink from the same water fountain as a white person, we've made it. They think because their little grandsons is taking a white girl to the prom, we're good. No, I know my people deserve more than that. We're supposed to get 40 acres in a mule, okay? That started right here in South Carolina, in the Lowcountry. The Gullah Geechee people were the first people to actually get it. My family still has land from that. It's heirs property, so we don't benefit from it, but we still have land from that. We never got paid that debt. Every other group would be knocking on the White House's door saying, hey, you got our votes. You owe us this. We're the only group that just gives away our vote to get nothing in return. Only to be told that you don't vote for me, you ain't black. So even if the only thing that results in me running is that I make noise, it takes noise to wake people up, because we sure need to wake up before it's too late. Before we wake up and we're out in the street and we are a fifth-class citizen in the country we built. Now, if that's okay with any of your listeners or their grandparents or great grandparents, then go ahead and keep voting for Clyburn like we've been doing for the past 30 years. And we are the sixth poorest in the country. Maybe we'll get to number one. Hey, we can do it. But if you feel that we deserve better, I am better. And as far as this race goes, I am the best, because I've already shown I know how to make a difference in the lives of people by being a teacher. Teachers have no power. We have no authority. We get little respect. We get paid little. And yet I was able to turn around not just the lives of my students, but according to their families, I turned their whole family's lives around too. If I can do that as a teacher with no power and no respect being shown to me, I know what I can do when I get to Congress.
Absolutely. Well, again, Mr. Dixon, we want to thank you for coming to Logan Power Show. We want to thank you all who are watching this to understand this change starts at home. You want to make a difference today. Look up what Mr. Dixon is doing. The information is available to you on the website. Definitely go to his website today. I want you all to understand that it takes a village. It takes a voice. It takes people coming together. If you don't like how things are going, make a choice on who you're going to choose. So all I tell you right now, we don't tell you who to vote for. We just put the information out there. So I hope this information has been available to you. I tell y'all, keep watching, keeping it locked. My name is Calvin, the Logan Power Show, nationwide, worldwide. We love you, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you for
Here
having
in
me.
South Carolina's 6th Congressional District, we are the sixth poorest district out of 435 total. And yet, where is our Congressman, James Clyburn? I can tell you, he says he will be in California, in North Carolina, and Florida, and Georgia. But what about the needs of South Carolinians? I was born here, I was raised here, I live here, and I'm going to be here. I am Gregg Marcel Dixon, and I approve this message.
It's the Logan Power Show. Inspirational and motivational. It's the Logan Power Show. Informational to help you grow. Logan Power Show.